Hello everybody, welcome to Rosie TV. I'm your host, Alex Haboob, and today we're going to be previewing the biggest game of the Premier League weekend, Manchester United versus Spurs. Who needs the win more? First, we're going to start off with Manchester United with only one win in their last 5 games, and that one win came against Swansea City, who are currently 20th in the Premier League, obviously coached by Bob Bradley, the American. But there's been a lot of people who've been saying that Manchester United have just been unlucky. Look at their last 5 games. 38 shots versus Burnley, 12 shots versus Arsenal, 70 shots versus West Ham, 10 shots versus Everton, which is a total of 77 shots. And in those 4 games, they only scored 3 goals. So that just shows you how poor their finishing has been. But also another thing to remember is their defense has actually been quite good. With Phil Jones finding form recently, past few games he's been very good. You could say before the season he was maybe 5th choice center back. Now he's holding that starting spot pretty well. Obviously when Eric Bailly comes back, him and Jones I think will create a good back two for Manchester United. Also another thing is obviously Henrik Mkhitaryan finally getting that starting spot that he's been wanting the whole season. We obviously know what he's capable of, playing so well last year for Borussia Dortmund, probably the best player in the Bundesliga last season, but it's taken him some time to adjust to the Premier League. But not also that, he had little stints where he's playing well, but Mourinho just decided not to play him, but finally he's getting his chance. And I just think that front three, that trio, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Anthony Martial, and Henrik Mkhitaryan, once they start stringing a few games together, I think it's going to be really scary for the opposition defense. Obviously, Mkhitaryan will be your creator on the right-hand side. We know how many assists he created and how many chances he created last year in the Bundesliga. Anthony Martial will be your goal-scoring winger. He's going to be cutting inside, taking players on. And Zlatan Ibrahimovic, we obviously know what he's capable of. We've seen that for the past decade. He is guaranteed goals. Yes, he had a rough patch this season. For about 5 games he didn't score. But then again, the whole team was really struggling. And now the team is still struggling, but he's scoring goals. However, in the midfield, I think there's a problem. There's no real destroyer in that team. So they're playing in a 4-3-3, or at least recently they have, past few games. Mourinho's kind of switched it up. It used to be a 4-2-3-1. Now he's kind of dropped Pogba a little bit back. It's going to be 4-3-3 with Carrick, Herrera, and Pogba. But none of them, I think, are really great defensively. Carrick can dictate the tempo of the whole game, sit right in front of the defense, and just dish long balls out to the attackers. And Herrera, he obviously known for his box-to-box presence. Pogba could do everything. Sure, this season he might not have the stats to show it, but he does create chances. He does take people on. He's one of the more confident players in the team. But as I said, none of them are real destroyers. And I'm talking about Casemiro-type players, Sergio Busquets-type players. And looking at Premier League rivals, Chelsea have both N'Golo Kante and Nemanja Matic. And Matic plays that destroyer role. Manchester United doesn't have that. And I think that's going to be a problem. However, moving on to Spurs, we could see possibly Toby Alderweireld being integrated back into the lineup. Obviously, he was injured for that long time. And their defense is still statistically the best defense in the league, conceding the least amount of goals. I think it was 10 goals. And now Toby is back. Obviously, Eric Dyer was playing in that center back spot. Now it's going to be Toby Alderweireld. They're going to slot him back right with Jan Vertonghen. But I think what's interesting about this game is how is the midfield going to line up? You got so many great players in there, and I think it's the best type of headache that Pochettino could have. The best problem he could have is having so many good players in midfield that he's going to have a real problem choosing who's going to play and who's not. I think Dyer will play at central defensive midfield, but I don't know who's going to partner him. I think Dele Alli will play at number 10. He'll play behind Harry Kane. Last year we did see him play next to Dyer a few times, but I think he's really the best when he's pushing up the pitch and creating chances for the team. So who's going to partner Dyer? It might be Wanyama. It might be Moussa Dembele. I honestly think I prefer the Moussa Dembele-Eric Dyer partnership. Wanyama is a great player, a great defensively minded player. But then again, having Dyer and Wanyama right next to each other is, I think, too defensive. And we need somebody to kind of link up play between the defense and the attack. And I think Moussa Dembele would be able to do that. I think Wanyama and Dyer are just too defensive together, so it really wouldn't work out. Plus, they already have the best defense in the league, so there's no point in having two CDMs basically play above the best back four in the league. So yeah, so if I was Pochettino, I would play Eric Dyer and Moussa Dembele right in front of the defense, with obviously Dele Alli playing behind Harry Kane. Now, this is a big game for both teams. If Spurs do actually win this game, it's a 9-point gap between them and United, which is huge. It's a really, really tough race to the title and even a top four race this season. So if they have a 9-point gap over United, it's going to basically eliminate one team from the top four race. I'm not saying United are 100% eliminated if they lose this game, but it's going to be really tough for them to make up those points. So Spurs can create a huge gap and basically have one less team to worry about. So all in all, this is going to be a very tough game for both teams. Both teams really need this win, especially United. But overall, I think this is going to be a 0-0 draw. It's going to be really hard for United to try to break down this Tottenham defense, which is the best defense in the league currently, with only 10 goals conceded. But also, I think it's going to be the other way around as well. Tottenham are going to struggle to try to break United down. If Mourinho comes in with the same approach he did to against Liverpool, it's going to be very tough for Spurs. But also, there's chemistry problems between that Manchester United front three. They haven't played many games together. That's why I think that attack isn't going to be firing on all cylinders just quite yet. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to Rosie TV for more content just like this. If you love football, you're going to love this channel. Anything from the top 5 leagues to international games, hopefully some historical things we could also be talking about. So yeah, thank you for watching.